Yeah, hi guys. Hey guys, what's up? We are about 4 minutes away. This is going to be cool. Let me just check if you guys can hear the live stream. Okay, they are going live.